Hong Kong's economy expanded solidly in the first quarter of 2025. Real gross domestic product, or GDP, expanded 3.1% year-on-year, picking up from the 2.5% growth in the preceding quarter. On a seasonally adjusted quarter-to-quarter basis, real GDP grew visibly by 1.9%. Acting government economist Cecilia Lam said this was mainly supported by visible increases in exports of goods and services, as well as the resumption of moderate growth in overall investment expenditure. The global economy maintained steady growth in the first quarter, with broadly sustained external demand, as well as some front-loading of shipments in anticipation of tariff hikes by the US in early April. Hong Kong's total exports of goods saw visibly accelerated growth, up 8.4% year-on-year in real terms. Domestically, private consumption expenditure continued to register a small decline of 1.1%, reflecting the lingering impact of changes in residents' consumption patterns. The labour market remained tight in the first quarter. The seasonally adjusted unemployment rate stayed low at 3.2%, slightly higher than the 3.1% in the preceding quarter. Residential property prices remained soft, with the US's trade and monetary policies leading to increased uncertainty in the external environment. Market sentiment became increasingly cautious as the end of March approached. Overall residential property prices fell 2% in the first quarter. The number of transactions, in terms of the total number of sale and purchase agreements for residential property received by the Land Registry, dropped 19% compared to the previous quarter to 12,193. Consumer price inflation stayed modest in the first quarter. The underlying composite consumer price index increased 1.2% over a year earlier, same as the increase in the preceding quarter. Taking into account the actual outturn in the first quarter and the latest developments of the global and local situation, the real GDP growth forecast for 2025 as a whole is maintained at 2 to 3%, the same as that announced in the budget.
The sustained steady growth of the mainland economy, amid more proactive fiscal policies and moderately accommodative monetary policies, should bode well for the performance of merchandise exports in Asia, including Hong Kong. Sustained international trade flows, coupled with improving inbound tourism, are also expected to benefit Hong Kong's exports of services. However, uncertainties in the trade policies of the US persist, and its monetary policy trajectory going forward is still complicated. These may affect global financial conditions and investment sentiment. Apart from this, the change in consumption patterns of residents and visitors will still pose constraints on driving consumption in the domestic market, though sustained increase in employment earnings and the SAR government's various policies to promote mega events and tourism would help boost consumption sentiment.
She added that overall inflation should remain modest in the near term, as pressures from domestic costs and external prices stay broadly in check. Considering that the inflation situation in the first quarter was broadly in line with earlier expectations, the forecasts for the underlying and headline consumer price inflation rates for 2025 are maintained at 1.5% and 1.8% respectively.